Hi, it's Red Snapper and Pepper, and welcome to the Showgirls Closet. Today we are going to look at ThredUp and recycling clothing. What do you think? I know I talk about a lot of hauls and projects that I've made and getting fabric and doing stuff and looking for sales to refresh your closet, but I do want to note I care about the environmental impact, especially with fast fashion. I tend to keep my things for much longer than one season, but it is worth noting that there is an impact from purchasing stuff, from getting clothing. And I've talked on this channel about offloading clothing and selecting which things I wanted to get rid of. I have never had any luck with posting my stuff online and asking, hey, who wants to buy the thing? Because I have the thing. Does anybody want to buy these things? I don't really get any interest from people for that.
Or even, who wants to take this thing off my hands?
Or giving things away. Who wants to take this thing? My most successful gifts of things of like, hey, who wants a thing? Has been bothering my sister and my mother, sending them a message and saying, hey, I have this. Do you want it? I have this swimsuit that looks terrible on me. Do you want it? And that's how I get rid of some of my clothes. Or giving away costumes in person or selling them in person in Los Angeles. And I would sell things for so cheap to get them out of my world. I see other performers who are like, hey, here's my costume, and I've performed in it a bunch of times, and I'm only charging $700 for you to own this costume. And I'm like, oh man, I've put $700 into these costumes, but I highly doubt anybody would pay that much for my costumes. That is part of the reason that I keep things hoarded within my home. You want to go to the floor? I'm also not great with the whole yard sale thing. 1, you have to be outside. 2, there are bugs outside. 3, it is Texas and things are hot. 4, I would have to get a permit, and I appreciate permits, but I don't want to have to get a permit to get rid of some crap that I just don't want anymore. And what was I on? 4, 5? 5. Who is going to buy my stuff? Yard sales are for drive-bys. They're for people who are in the neighborhood. So are my neighbors, elderly retired folks, are they going to come by and purchase some of these things? I highly doubt it. I can't do a virtual yard sale because I've already mentioned I am not successful at selling my own goods to people online. So what am I going to do? Not spend the time on eBay trying to sell things. I saw an ad for ThredUp to recycle clothing, and I thought, hey, this could be cool. You fill up the bag from the comfort of your home, which means you don't have to go to a Buffalo Exchange or another shop and hope like hell somebody sees value in what you have. So let's go with ThredUp and let's test this out. And I want to share this with you, my whole experience, because you may benefit from using ThredUp. The first step to the entire ThredUp experience is to go to the website, which is spelled ThredUp, no A, ThredUp, and request a clean out bag. And they send you in this little envelope a bag that you fill with stuff. You fill it until it's full with stuff. And it is stamped for postage already. So you drop it off with UPS, and I will open this up because they give you instructions inside. It's a bit like an online yard sale, also clothing recycling system. So, got instructions in here. It says check every single item before packing. And of course, I made a spreadsheet of the items that I sent in because I wanted to keep track of it. And I wanted to share this experience with you. So you can only send clean and freshly laundered items. You have to check them all for wear and tear. You have to, check the sweat spots, the neck, the armpits, the crotch, because they do accept swimwear. They don't accept lingerie. They do accept swimwear. Remove all personal items from pockets and handbags. Mr. Snapper has a story about pockets and pocket discoveries. Like, my mother said, "Oh, here is this jacket. Would you like to take it?"
It's a jacket that had fringe. I was like, yeah, I'm not really interested in that jacket. And then she was like, well, there's nothing wrong with it. And she put it on, put her hand in the pocket, and pulled out a $50 bill.
Mm-hmm.
The moral of the story is...
always check the pockets. So they will not accept items that show wear and tear. That means pilling, like on sweaters or on some of the fast fashion clothing that I've gotten before to just add a little refresh to my wardrobe. Some of those fabrics are such poor quality that they pill. Or knits can pill, especially if they're plush at all. No shrinkage, no stains, no odors. Again, check the armpits, check the crotch, check all of the areas, check the honking zones to make sure that that there's no sweat or anything mixed into them. They won't take damaged or altered items. Now, here is why this is especially important. Not the damage, but the alterations. I'm not tall. I will alter my clothes. We've talked about this in jumpsuit episodes or long dress episodes because I'm not tall, which means I will take things up. So I could not send them a store-bought garment if I made any alterations of taking it up, letting it out, taking it in. Now, it's entirely possible that if I had taken something in and kept the excess fabric, removed the stitching very carefully, and made sure that there was no sign that I had taken anything up or in, that it might have gotten past their screening team internally. But there were things that I couldn't send. And you can't send broken stuff. You're trying to resell things that are in great condition. So no rips, holes, missing parts, broken zippers, altered hems, missing labels or sizes. Everything has to have a label. So if you cut the labels out because they bother you, you can't send the things to ThredUp. And then they have banned categories because there are only certain things that they can sell. So no menswear. That's pretty interesting. No pajamas, no intimates, no jewelry. I thought that was fascinating, but that way they don't have to deal with the weight of the jewelry and verifying that it is indeed fake gold-plated nickel or whatever. There's all kinds of verification. Formal gowns, non-apparel items. So I don't know exactly what that would be.
Like your Stanley cup.
Or dishwasher liquid. No, I don't know what you would send. Like, here's a kitchen towel. There we go. Non-apparel. And counterfeit items. Yeah, if you have the Santee Alley Louis Vuitton bag and you pop that in there, that's a no-go for them. They want legitimate items. I guess handbags would be non-apparel items. They call it their clean out service, and they want to give your best items a second home, sold to people. But if there are things that they don't think they can sell, then they go through this whole incredible process so that the clothing goes somewhere. And we'll put a link in the description of a fantastic video that explains exactly how ThredUp does all of the recycling. So if they can't sell it, it goes to someone who can use or sell it. And then if those folks can't sell it, it goes to a new home and it can travel around the world. That's kind of exciting. So I filled my bag, which you can see here. I didn't think that I would fill an entire bag because when I pulled that bag out, I thought, this is huge. There's no way I'm going to fill this bag, especially since I can't send handmade items or altered items. There is no way. And my bag weighed 10.1 pounds. That's a lot of clothing to me. I mean, it was a pretty hefty bag and I could barely seal it. So exciting for me. Yay. Let's see how many things I sent. I have a nice log, and I recommend that if you use ThredUp or any other service, keep a log of your stuff. I sent them a total of 18 items. And among those items, we included a few things that you've seen here on the Showgirls Closet. The unique vintage haul dress that I wasn't sure about. It wasn't quite my style or an excellent fit. That went to ThredUp. The long rose gold sequin gown, they said no formal wear, but they took my gown. That went to ThredUp. And the retro stage jumpsuit that I had purchased a larger size of and decided to purchase a smaller size, that also went to ThredUp, along with a handful of other things, which you can see some of them here. It takes a little while for them to process the clothing as they get it in, and they photograph everything. I think they steam it, they hang it, they photograph it, they list it. You can edit your listings so that there's a little more information, but you can't completely edit them. So there are like selections you can make. You can't say, this outfit is blah, 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 blah. No, you can say swimwear. You can just click swimwear, bridal, summer wedding, like very simple tags for what you have. You can't go into great detail. I sent a blouse that had a magnetic front closure and magnetic cuffs. So you could roll them up and then the magnets would clasp. And I could not call that out, that like, hey, there are magnets on this amazing Tommy Hilfiger, because there was nowhere for me to say anything. I couldn't customize anything about it. An eBay listing, I could go into great detail, but not on ThredUp. It's only tags. So it takes a few weeks for them to process your bag because they have to unpack everything, inspect everything, make sure that they grade it for what can be sold in the US versus what needs to be sent elsewhere for another life. That takes time. And they do all the photography, all of the listings. They use the tags to help figure out the value of things because they are going through and determining the value of the items based on those tags. So if the tags are missing, they can't compare it to what's already out there because these are all, nothing is handmade. These are all manufactured clothing items that are available. They also charge you for the listing service and the bag. Your first time, I believe they let you have it for half off. So the money that I earned, they took off like $10 or something to cover the shipping and the listing fees of the whole thing. So know that there is an expense. It's not free, but you don't have to put on more than pajama pants to get rid of it. And you don't have to stand out in the sun, and you don't have to go online and say, hey, who wants to buy my stuff? And then nobody really wants to buy your stuff. That seems to be just my experience because I see, all of everybody listing something. Hey, here's half of an old shoe. Who wants to buy it? I'll give you $800. I had 18 items total. 8 of those items have sold. There's one that is still listed, available to be sold. And then the other 9, so half of what I sent in, the other 9 have gone on. They will make me no money. They're living their best life elsewhere, being used for whatever thing. I earned just over $30 from everything I sent in, which is a lot more than I would have earned if it was in my front yard or advertised online, honestly. And I get $22 back. So I can either use that $22 as a credit on purchases on the website, or I can ask them to cash out and give me that $22. As a first-time purchaser, I can get 50% off my first purchase haul. So they're kind of encouraging you to stay on the platform and purchase things from there. But we shall see what I decide to do with it. But this process for me started in May. It is now the end of July. So it does take some time to see things, to see results. If someone purchases one of your items, then you have to wait to make sure that they want to keep it, because they could decide, I want to send it back, and then the sale doesn't count for you. So that is also something worth noting. Something important to know about the items that you sell, you don't get full price. So if they sell it for $20, depending on the category and brand and such, you may get 5%, you may get 25%. The item that I made the most money off which I find hilarious, is that unique vintage haul. I can't remember the name of the brand, but the dress that wasn't quite the right fit for me and I wasn't sure if I would keep it. I made more money off of that than I did any other item that I sent to them. So I think that was 25% I got back. So it might be listed for $40. I get $10 based on the item. So don't expect to make full price, but also not sitting in the sun or hustling, trying to hustle my friends and acquaintances to purchase. Like, here's a random thing. And before this, I asked my mother and my sister, hey, who wants whatever? I offloaded things already to pare down to this amount of stuff. You can log into your portal at any point while things are being sorted or sold. After they receive your clean out bag, you can check the website and see where things are in the process. They'll let you know, oh, we need these weeks in order to review, photograph, and list things, or these items are pending a sale. All of that. This is how much money you've earned. This is your potential for earning. They update you on all of that within the portal, so you can go in at any time and see where you stand. ThredUp is not great for offloading showgirl bits, which are covered in sweat and maybe body makeup, or have a missing rhinestone, or custom things that you've made to fit you. Altered items, vintage. I couldn't send any vintage items because that's just not what they do. But for fashion, for any showgirl fashion or daily life fashion that you have that you no longer want, it is definitely worth checking out ThredUp and sending them your stuff. At the very least, you won't have those things and they will go to live in a new home. At most, you'll make some money back and you may decide to purchase something super cool from the site. I know I keep looking for things from the late 90s and early 2000s that I really liked and couldn't buy then because I was poor. So I keep checking, like, is there this thing, this unicorn of a thing that I really wanted then but can afford now? I highly recommend you check them out. Check out the video that explains what they do. And let me know in the comments, have you ever used ThredUp or another service to offload some of your wardrobe? I would love to know what those services are and what your success was like. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and boop that bell for notifications. Many thanks to my patrons. And you'll see me next time. Bye.